Hey, Westside, we are continuing through the miracles of Jesus, and today we're going to look at a miracle that's actually very similar to the miracle Steve shared yesterday during his devotion, and we're going to be looking at one in Luke chapter 14. But as I read through this miracle, it reminded me of some of my younger years. I had a couple pretty rough years in junior high. My parents divorced, and there were a number of other factors that left me pretty discouraged and without any motivation at all in life. And in fact, my last semester of ninth grade, I failed 4 of 6 classes. That's right, 4 of 6 classes I failed and would end up having to retake later on in high school. I was pretty demotivated, let's put it that way. Well, my dad realized something. He realized that I loved dirt bikes and riding dirt bikes. And he made me a deal. He said, if you get on the honor roll next year, my first semester of 10th grade, he said, if you get on the honor roll, I'll buy you a brand new motorcycle. Well, I was motivated. And that meant also getting a 3.2 GPA to be on the honor roll. That's a big jump from where I had just been. Long story short, I get through the semester and through the year, and I just fell short. I got, I think, a 3.1 or something like that. I didn't make the honor roll, but I came very close, and the level of improvement was huge. And my dad ended up buying me the motorcycle anyway. It was really interesting, and it was a huge pivotal learning experience in my life. I realized something about being focused on the deal and the letter of the law versus being focused on life. And my dad was not focused on the details or the terms of our deal. He was focused on motivating me and bringing life back into me. And that's what he was after. In Luke chapter 14, we see Jesus. He's eating dinner at a very prominent Pharisee's house. And we'll pick it up in verse 1. One Sabbath, it says, when Jesus went to eat at the house of a prominent Pharisee, he was being carefully watched by the Pharisees. There in front of him was a man suffering from abdominal swelling in his body. And Jesus asked the Pharisees and experts of the law a question. This is interesting because they usually asked him questions to try and trap him. He asked, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath or not? They remained silent. So taking hold of the man, Jesus healed him and sent him on his way. And then he asked the Pharisees again, he said, if one of you had a child or an ox that falls into a well on the Sabbath day, will you not immediately pull it out? And they had nothing to say. It's really interesting because the Pharisees often tried to trap Jesus, trying to discredit his authority, his deity, his power, his influence. And this started going back in Luke's gospel to chapter 5 and 6. And we see Jesus being questioned immediately in chapter 6 about healing on the Sabbath again. And he recites a story to the Pharisees at that time about David and his men who entered the temple, which was a huge violation of Jewish law. They entered the temple, they ate bread that was consecrated because they were hungry. And he asked the Pharisees again in Luke chapter 6, verse 9. He says, which is lawful on the Sabbath, to do good or to do evil? To save life or to destroy it? Constantly throughout the Gospels, we see Jesus forgoing the letter of the law to bring life into people. We see this with the woman caught in adultery. Once again, he stands up for her and backs down the angry mob that's holding her to the letter of the law, which she has violated. And instead, he brings life and restoration to her. The letter of the law fulfilled God's justice, but it failed to bring life. Well, it turns out my dad being focused on the deal was more pivotal than probably I knew at the time. In hindsight, I realized that had he held me to the letter of the law and said, oh, you were close, try again next time, I guarantee you I would have given up. I would have been so discouraged, and there would have been no rebuilding of life and hope and encouragement inside of me. I think it's important for us to constantly ask ourselves, what honors Jesus the most? What builds the kingdom? What leads to life and flourishing around us? And maybe today or even this week, there's something small that you can do, or maybe something big that will bring life and flourishing to someone else. It was the Apostle Paul that talked about this. He said that the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control. And he finished by saying, against such things, there is no law. I hope this miracle and these thoughts encourage you today. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you tomorrow for another one of the miracles of Jesus.